ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I am one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we have in the news, Marvel's movie slate has been delayed. There's about 5 or 6 movies that are getting pushed back. We'll get to that in the news and trailer talk. We do have 3 new trailers for you, each of them exciting. They're all kind of different from each other in some ways, but each exciting on their own. The new streaming list is nothing too exciting, but there are a few things for you guys to watch this next week. We'll get to the while watching, of course, and then our main review for the episode is Halloween Kills. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, and as usual, with Unlocked Nathaniel Gingrich.
Hello, I'm unlocked and open for business, apparently.
Whoa. Why are you not locking your doors there, Nathaniel?
I just don't believe in it anymore. I just want to go back to our days of good old fashioned American values, and
where you can trust your neighbor.
Yeah, everyone drank a milkshake and had steak for dinner and beat their wives and stuff.
Yeah. The only thing to worry about were like nukes and the Cold War. And
right, that and the Ruskies.
Life was simple.
Right. Yep. Don't have to worry about these psychos creeping through your neighborhood and killing good God-fearing
Simple times, man. Simple times.
It's true. And the only way I think we can bring that back is just by leaving my my doors unlocked. So that's what I'll do. No any meaningful change. I couldn't do anything about that, but
of course,
I'll just do this.
Yeah, man. Make the suburbs great again.
Hopefully no one kills me. Wink, wink.
Hopefully no one kills Time to Die Tyler Dallas.
I feel like that name is. I feel like I had that at some point.
Did we
I
already
like
do
that
Time to Die?
tie-in from last.
I was gonna say it was because last week you were in No Time to Die, right?
Maybe.
No, last week. What was he last week? I already forgot.
Tech guy. He was Tech Guy Tie.
No Time to Tie.
Oh yeah, he was.
You should have been No Time to Tie. That would have been good.
That would have been good.
That is a true tragedy that we didn't come up with that earlier.
That's not. Yeah, no, that's on me. I should have thought of that one. You were Tech Guy Tie last week. I was off my game, I guess.
Fuck. Just get unnaturally angry
How
about
you doing,
it.
Time to Die Tie?
I'm good. I'm not bad.
Just pulled some. Just opened some Pokemon cards.
I did. Yeah. If we end up using that for
that's
post pod or pre pod or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna be the tag.
Yeah, let's hope.
How are you?
I'm good, man. How was
Good.
your week? It's been a long one for me, but also
Not
short.
bad. Yeah, it's been pretty busy, but
Yeah.
other than that, it's been good.
Lots to do, man. Ramping up, middle of the semester for me, so just lots going on.
Lots to buy.
Lots to buy.
Yeah, something about the way you phrase that reminded me of the way that Hagrid says it in Harry Potter.
Oh, man, those are great movies.
Great fall movies.
That's another reference I'm missing. I haven't seen a single Harry Potter movie as well.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna get butchered for that one. Yeah.
I feel like we should know these, or like we may have known this in the past, but like I don't.
We
It's just
definitely
maybe there's just like
Like, what did you
some part
watch
of
as
my
a
brain
child?
that just turns it off because I don't understand.
Yeah.
You just didn't
What were you
have
saying, Nathaniel?
no Star Wars, no Harry Potter. Like,
Yeah. Did you guys? What did I watch like as a child?
yeah. No wonder
Horror
you
movies.
watched horror movies. Yeah, there was nothing else left
Yeah.
out there.
That's it, man. That and sports is all I watched.
Yeah.
Of course, that sultry voice over there is big backstabbing BlakeHolder. He was a very trustworthy person. Don't let that title lead you astray.
Don't let the name fool you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more of a literal backstabbing than a figurative.
Blake would only
backstabbing.
ever backstab a villain, as we've, he would gain their trust and then stab a villain in the back, but never a friend.
Possibly a sneak peek into today's movie we're reviewing.
Bit of sizzle.
Stay tuned. Yeah, but it's Oh man, what
What's
a
up?
weird week. How are you doing, Blake?
Good, man. I was gonna ask how's everybody's week? I'm all right, dude. Long weekend. I traveled, got to see some friends.
Yeah, where'd you go? I remember you posted on Instagram.
I went to Providence, Rhode Island, and then we went to Boston as well.
Do you say you made your way to
Um,
Salem too?
yeah, we were gonna make it there, but we didn't.
All right.
And then we were gonna try to take an Amtrak to New York City. Um, but we didn't end up doing that as well. That was the Amtrak train to New York City was like, dude, it was like $350
Whoa.
or something. I was like, dude, I might as well just fly.
Right at that point, right?
Yeah. So no, I didn't get a chance to see New York City, which I've never been there either, so that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, it was cool though. So I got a buddy who is a football coach at Brown University, the Ivy League school. So we
Oh,
went up there to visit him. He's got a ticket to the game. Got to see the campus and everything, and just kind of kicked back and spent some time with him for about 4 days.
cool.
So
That's
yeah,
cool.
cool.
That's
Beautiful
cool
campus,
shit.
by the way. That campus is so nice, dude.
Yeah, I bet it is, man.
Coaching is a wild ass profession to get into, and to make it to an Ivy League schools is pretty
Yeah.
commendable. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can bounce around and see a lot of places. So, funny enough, originally he's not from there. He's actually from the Chicagoland area, so actually, like Joliet, it's a little south of us.
Sure.
But we ended up meeting him in college, playing
Oh.
sports. So yeah, so now he's over there in Providence, Rhode Island. So yeah, it was cool. Weather held up fine. The game was good. Campus was beautiful. Got to see the facilities toward the school. So yeah, it was cool, man. I can't complain.
Get any of the
Food
itch?
wasn't the greatest though, but I'm a very picky eater, so you got to take that for a grain of salt. But
Did you
Uh,
feel any of the itch to play or anything like that again? Like, did you get any like
Uh,
memories or anything?
yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about that too. It's like the last time I did even anything remotely that athletic is
Sure.
the last time I played football.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like I
Mhm.
still work out, but that's a totally different type of
Right.
just
Commitment.
athleticism and like
Yeah.
the things you have to do in terms of like running and jumping
Sure.
and doing those things. Like I haven't done that in so long. I'd tear an ACL, you know. So, yeah, a little bit, but yeah, it was cool just to be around that and even like be like in a locker room again. It's just weird smells, you
Yeah,
know,
of
like when
course.
you're like
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the field, you get all those things back. But yeah, super cool.
That's awesome, man.
It's a good time. You said smells and like going back to the field. I don't know about you, Nathaniel. Anytime I like smell like my mitt,
Oh,
from
yeah.
baseball, like I go right back.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
of
the
course.
same
Yeah.
exact thing, man. You can just smell that. You smell just like turf, you know, it's just like a very
Right, yeah,
distinct
yeah,
smell that
absolutely.
I haven't
Yeah.
smelled in a very long time.
If I remember correctly in my psychology course, it's smells are kind of like trigger the most vivid memories because the olfactory part of your brain is like right next to your
Mm.
hippocampus, I think.
Yeah,
Sure.
So
yeah.
they're very closely related. Like smells
I
can
could
trigger
believe that.
memories better than almost anything else.
hmm
Buy that.
Anyway, let's talk about movies, guys. Thank you for joining us for
The
nostalgia
smelliest
talk.
of all art forms, movies.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about things that are gonna be nostalgic in the future.
Ooh. Tell me
Sorta,
about them.
even I guess even further in the future by a few months if you want to go that far. But anyway, that was one of my rougher segues. Marvel has delayed a lot of their movies, a lot of their 2022 movies, only by a few months for most of them, but it is a notable shift. So we have Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Indiana Jones 5, not a Marvel movie, but of course part of Disney's slate. The Marvels, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and an untitled Marvel film have all been delayed. So you got 7 delays there, 6 of them from Marvel. So Doctor Strange going from March 25th, 2022 to May 6th, 2022. So only like a two-month delay, a little under that. Thor, Love and Thunder, May 6th to July 8th, about 2 months. Black Panther 2, delayed from July 8th to November 11th. So a little bit longer one there, probably like around 4 months. Indiana Jones, July 29th to June 30th, 2023. So they're doing like a whole year on that one.
Wow.
Yeah, Marvels from November 11th, 2022 to February 17th, 2023. So 4 or 5 months there. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, February 17th, 2023 to July 28th, 2023. So only a few months there as well. And then the Untitled Marvel film has been moved back. This might be a typo here. Oh, it's moved forward. Never mind. It has moved back. It's moved forward a week from November 10th to November 3rd of 2023. Don't know what that is yet, but obviously they've got something planned for
Maybe it's Blade.
phase 4 movie. Maybe. Yeah, they haven't really said much about what that's going to be. But yeah, they haven't really cited anything specifically. According to one of the Decider articles that I was reading about it, it's mainly just a delay in production from like one film to the next, where it's like they just kind of had to push all of these back because they were finishing other movies that are in production, and so that's just caused some delays.
Yeah, the way I kind
of all of them.
The way I kind of heard it was just more wanting to have better clearance for some of their other projects too, so they weren't like competing with one another, and one movie's like take wasn't taking away from something else, so they could just trying to get their timing right with, I guess, the way that things are shaking out and how different projects are progressing and stuff. So nothing surprising here. Yeah, I feel like this happens with Marvel probably at least once a phase or so, and it's to be expected with kind of obviously COVID and everything. So nothing too shocking to me here.
Yeah, definitely not. It is, unfortunate, but also these movies are only going to get delayed a few months. None of them are going back that much except for Indiana Jones 5, which is not completely shocking to me. I mean, 11 months. I don't even know. Have they started production on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's such a backlog of movies at this point that we should probably be able to get a pretty big blockbuster once a week, every week, up until like some of these release dates now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're not really going to have a drought of content like we did this past year and a half or so.
No way.
It's going to be the complete opposite, which is good. More things to see, more things to watch, more things to have fun with.
Mm-hmm.
Content,
all right, well, that's
baby. Content.
What'd you say?
I said content, baby, content.
Indeed. We love content. I don't think we'd be able to make our own without some. So
this is true.
We are content.
Meta, man.
Content kings, baby.
Meta.
Let's move on to trailer talk here then, guys. That's all it is for the news, a slower news week. But we got 3 new trailers. Let's get to the first one here, guys. The one I'm sure we're all most excited about, and I'm sure if the listener has seen it, is excited to hear us talk about it. The Batman trailer number 2 for Robert Pattinson's Batman. Are they doing Robert Pattinson's Batman or Ben Reeves' Batman? I feel like it's more Ben Reeves' Batman.
I believe everyone is referring to it as Rob at.and.
Ah.
One more time for me, Nathaniel. You said Rob Bat.
Rob at.and. Yeah, that's a Weekly Planet, another podcast, pretty popular. That was their name that they came up with for him, and it has since become weirdly prescient as you see Batman using a bat in this trailer to beat someone up. So now we're trying to get it all going out there. Rob at.and.
Yeah.
But I actually want to lead into this a little bit. I actually watched some of the lead up to this, some of the DC Fandom experience that they were doing. Yeah. So I took off a little bit of time this weekend, and one of the things was on Saturday when this event was going on, I had a little bit of time to sit and watch it, and so I got to probably about the last hour or so.
Okay.
I want to say of the event. Not great. Gonna be honest with you. It was very clear last year. Well, I should say for anyone who's listening, it used to be that like at Comic-Con is when you would get kind of the big release events from like DC, Marvel, all that kind of stuff. As those properties have kind of gotten bigger, you've seen people kind of split off to the point now that Marvel doesn't even go to Comic-Con anymore. And since last year, DC no longer does either, and they've now started doing this DC Fandom thing, which is a virtual live stream set in a weird virtual dome. And it's just like people show up there, and last year because of COVID, there had all these crazy news and announcements, and there was kind of this. It was a pretty big event. You got like the Batman trailer, you know, the Suicide Squad trailer. Yeah, we yeah, of course, that's right. We talked all about it. And so this year, I think because of COVID, nothing really has progressed all that much. Really, because everyone was just kind of scrambling to try and make sure everything that was planned to come out for last year kind of came out. So now they basically were just kind of recycling a lot of the same stuff. And it was a lot of like, no, don't worry, we're still making The Flash, or we're still making Shazam, but we don't have a trailer for you guys, but we promise it's good. And there was like a really weird commemorative thing to Wonder Woman that had Linda Carter and Patty Jenkins, neither of who were clearly on the same page of what they were talking about, and they were kind of just like trying to make it up as they went. But leading into that, the last thing that they had, it was a 3-hour event, and the Batman trailer was the last thing that they had on there.
Yep.
And people were just losing their minds in the chat. But that's leading up into this. Sorry, guys. I was just kind of like ended the story there.
No worries.
I didn't know if there was a continuation here, but yeah. This is trailer number 2 for the movie that comes out March 4th, 2022. So we're still a few months away. If I had to guess,
getting close,
getting close for sure. And I've said it before, that'll be here way sooner than we think.
Yeah.
Because it's already kind of crazy that we're in October of 2021. Like, this year's kind of just flown by for me. I don't know about you guys, but
no, I would agree.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Especially after 2020, that year dragged on for way too long. But anyway, I can't imagine that they don't have at least one more trailer out, and then obviously some like TV promo stuff.
Yeah.
Don't know how much more I want to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you guys feel?
I mean, so I guess my question, now we're just throwing questions out. I was about to say, like, do you guys think this trailer was as big as the last Spider-Man trailer that came out? Just in terms of like the amount of talking points it's gonna have,
like
and
the engagement,
just the pub that it has, right? Because this was a massive trailer when it dropped.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say this one probably topped Spider-Man.
You think?
I feel like Batman. It's more of a thing where it's like people I know who like watch these movies were coming up to me talking more about this movie than Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or like I saw it on Twitter, like more people that I follow that aren't about movies were talking about this trailer than the Spider-Man trailer. So
I think a lot of that is because Batman, the Nolan Batmans are it's the only good piece of DC that people have to hold on to. So with it being attached to a name like this, it's definitely got a little bit more weight on its shoulders than anything that's really in Marvel right now. I think after Infinity War ended, most people were like, that's like huge. And like, granted, there's been other Marvel stuff that's come out, but I still think that's easily the best thing so far.
I also think, or go ahead, Nathaniel.
Do you guys think that they are going, like, how big do you think they're going with this? Like, they've talked about that it's like definitely more of a detective story and everything, but in my mind, it's just like, what have we seen so far from the Batman universes over the years? And is there interesting things that they can kind of do that they haven't covered before? You know, because with the Burtons, you burn through, you know, your Jokers, your Penguins, your Riddlers, your Mr. Freezes. Obviously,
Poison Ivy.
Yeah, Poison Ivy. Obviously, Nolan went through your Joker, your Two-Face, your Scarecrow, your Bane. You know, how much do you think is left in the Batman universe? Is there something that they could do that we haven't seen before, maybe? As kind of like a big bad. Obviously, we see in the trailer that there is the Riddler and the Penguin, but I'm wondering if there could be something else in the wings or anything.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. I don't know if I have a direct answer for that. I mean, I would say just based off kind of what we're seeing so far, and obviously everything we've heard, This is just a much grittier story of Batman, and I think that's what's going to get the engagement from most people.
Okay.
Where, like, to be honest, this seems very much like almost like the video games, right? Just in terms of like how dark and gritty it is, right? And, like the hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that. And I think that's going to sell a lot of people, man.
Yeah, I think for me, it's DC. I think really missed a lot where they should have been ahead of the game on most things, and obviously we always say Marvel Universe is better, and that is true. But there's always going to be a part of me that wants the DC Universe to finally break out and pull its head out of its ass. And I honestly think that most DC movies that have come out should have been made to be a rated R film.
Okay.
If DC just came out and said, fuck it, like, we're just going to do rated R stuff and we're just going to do what we want to do. Like, obviously, I know there's a lot more that goes into that and it's easier said than done. But, DC is inherently much darker of a universe than what Marvel has ever been. And I think that if the grittier they get, the more people are going to appeal to this. So if they do go anywhere else with this, I think they should re-hit on obviously some remakes of some of the characters, kind of like they're going into the Riddler here. And obviously the Riddler has already been done, but there is still quite a bit to do in the Batman universe if they do it right. And obviously you can get into all the different Robin stories and Nightwing and all that stuff, but who knows?
Yeah, supposedly this one's gonna be based off the Long Halloween, which, if I remember correctly, really involves the mob and like the Falcone family and everything. And I don't know how audiences would kind of like react if at the end of this story it was revealed that the big villains were just a bunch of Italian mobsters,
a crime syndicate,
right? Yeah, when you have like, obviously this seems to be a world, though it doesn't really make a choice one way or another. I'll be interesting to see how much like the supernatural plays into this. Is this going to be like an Arkham universe where we have like Lazarus pits and you're bringing people back from the dead and Killer Croc's 9 feet tall and everything, or is it going to try and be more Nolan-esque, where like Anne Hathaway's Catwoman is an actual cat burglar with like a tech suit or something like that, rather than
sure
all the other stuff. So I don't know. I'm excited. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. It definitely looks like it's got a really interesting sense of style, and it seems like it's almost going for more of that like 90s Batman animated series vibe in some ways too.
Sure.
But I'm definitely in on it.
Yeah, the cinematography on this thing looks great. We're all pretty much fans of Robert Pattinson, so I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see where his Batman is going to rank among all the Batmans, right? Quote unquote.
Sure.
I doubt it'll be better than Christian Bale, but we'll see. That's just for talking points. And then Zoe Kravitz looks beautiful as Catwoman, so I mean that's gonna be a selling point as well.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, one of the things that. All right, go ahead, Nathaniel.
No, Discord delay got me. You talk. I've talked for a lot.
I was just gonna say one of the things that stuck out to me in the trailer was a lot of the music and then score, and I really hope that's not just trailer music and that's the actual score of the movie. Which, I mean, oftentimes something like that they kind of line those up, but that really has set the tone in the trailer for me, along with, of course, the cinematography and everything like that. And I think this is just gonna be a very different Batman. And so when you asked earlier, Nathaniel, like how are they gonna keep this fresh or change this up, I think they can keep doing so if they keep doing these interesting takes on who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is, and how he can, be different, how the same character can be shown in different ways. And I think this is going to be the most unique one we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, supposedly it's going to be set like kind of year 2. Like he's been Batman for a little bit, but he's not, he's not a veteran at this point. He's still pretty fresh to it. Mm-hmm. So I think that would be kind of an interesting time period. I definitely don't need to see his parents killed in an alley out front of a theater. You know, I feel like that's like I've reached Uncle Ben levels of having seen it, been there, done that with that shit at this point. So any like kind of, you know, step in that direction, I'd be pretty ready for.
For sure.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Man, I'm very excited for this. This looks like it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, coming in March too.
Yeah.
At the box office, though.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you that.
Well, we can move on to our next trailer here, which is going to be another superhero show, not movie, show, Peacemaker. The spin-off show coming to HBO Max about the Peacemaker character from the recently released The Suicide Squad that came out earlier this year. It's featuring John Cena in the lead role, and it's going to be directed by James Gunn as well.
Yes, I didn't catch this one on my watch of Fandom. It must have come out a little bit earlier in the day, but I saw it later. And I don't know, guys. I'm not in love with this. This trailer alone did not make me think I've got to watch this show. I'll be honest.
I would agree with you.
I'm kind of in.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, it seemed funny, but it seemed like almost like a different character to who we had in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's really gonna be. I kind of hope that this goes towards like they take a big page out of like Ted Lasso and kind of film it in that sense to where he's kind of in this new place trying to figure out like what he really wants to do, and he's still trying to be righteous and good, but obviously he's like a terrible person.
Sure.
And so I think it'll be funny to hopefully see him like learn these lessons on a episode to episode basis. And I don't know, I'm kind of in just because of the banter that him and Idris Elba had, and it was good. So
again, off the pedigree, I probably would like kind of give it a chance too, but I'm wondering if it's just a bad trailer or what. But I did not feel like the tone of this was consistent at all with what I have experienced of Peacemaker up until this point, you know?
Yeah.
My brief thoughts on him, it's not enough to get me to watch it, you know, so.
Even though it's going to be on HBO Max and it'll be for free basically for us.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm okay with just having that character in the Suicide Squad, excuse me.
Okay.
I don't think I really need the extra exposition and everything behind it. John Cena is going to be awesome though, for sure, and I'm sure it's going to bring in a lot of viewers as well. But just in terms of my personal preference and me just not being a huge TV show guy, it's certainly not something I got to put on my radar.
Well, it sounds like Tyler's in on it, so maybe if he says it's amazing, I'll go back in.
Yeah, he could sell it to us.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm okay if it's bad though. it's not like it'd be a huge surprise.
I personally just need more John Cena in my life, and I'm just happy anytime he's around.
Yeah, we'll see on this one. I don't know. I could definitely see it being good, but it's not. You're right, Nathaniel. This trailer wasn't like, oh, I can't wait for this to come out. Which it's coming out January 13th, 2022. So this January.
Oh, well. Don't have to wait long, I guess.
Yeah, and it's going to do an 8-episode run. So.
Who knows? If I hear it's good, if I hear it's good, I'll definitely check it out. But like I said, it's not something I felt compelled.
Sorry, go ahead, Nathaniel.
No, it's all right. I was just saying, reiterating my point that it's not something I felt like compelled to go watch. I feel like today you have to really stick out for you to like get our attention on something. There's just so much stuff out there at this point.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. Do you guys think this is DC's chance? So, like, for example, you know how Marvel just ran through a ton of TV shows, right? Post the kind of the last like phase they had. Do you think this is going to be DC's introduction to that, where they're going to start trying to get a lot of these characters their own TV shows?
I think it's definitely a feeler for them.
Yeah. I think James Gunn wrote this thing, went to DC and was like, "Here's what I got," and they were like, "We'll give it a shot." They like weighed how much money it cost to like what it could be, and just went, "Yeah, must have worked out for them." And they were like, we'll use the same character, same crew already, and just get rid of it, maybe. Just chunk it out. But yeah, and in terms of like, do I see this as being DC's strategy? probably not, but I think it's like if this works out in some way, I think they're definitely like, well, yeah, we'll keep doing it if you guys like it. I think DC will throw anything at the wall to make it stick at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah, maybe they saw all the success that's come from all the Marvel shows and trying to do the same thing. They have a bunch of like comic TV shows that are like more direct comic adaptations rather than like spin-offs of the films.
Sure,
a lot of that is on HBO Max.
Yeah, they're animated works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, our last trailer of the day is a little teaser trailer for the live action Cowboy Bebop series that is coming to Netflix. Quick show of hands here for the squadron. How many of you guys have seen Cowboy Bebop? Because I have not.
I have not.
My hand is up.
My hand is also up.
Nathaniel. What does this do for you guys, if anything? This teaser.
Go ahead, Nathaniel. You've watched it more recently.
Yeah, so I just watched it, I just watched the trailer, and I also watched Cowboy Bebop for the first time last year. I want to say it was.
Okay.
So it is pretty recently that I've gone through it. This teaser feels like it was created by someone who has only seen the title of Cowboy Bebop to me, like the title track, which if you've seen or if you've come across the title sequence for Cowboy Bebop before, it's pretty iconic. But that's really what this felt like to me. I think everyone looks great. I think everyone sounds great. I think they they're very much inhabiting those roles, but it was the actual stylized action and kind of editing that they use that is present in the show's intro sequence, but then that's not a significant portion of the show. I'm not sure why that seemed to be dragged out through that kind of teaser area.
That sequence is just for the teaser. That is not going to be a part of the episodes in any way.
Got it.
They made that teaser separate, and that would make sense as to why they matched that style for it.
Got
that
it.
is not how the show will be.
Okay.
Well, that I guess that kind of that falls in line because they obviously use that as their opener. So if they're using that as kind of like their opener, then sure.
Yeah, or like just an introductory like episode 0 almost kind of thing.
Yeah, but still funny as shit that if it does look like that.
Right, yeah, we're gonna have some problems. But I thought like the action was pretty cool. Like there was that kind of moment where it kind of the camera almost like swung 3 different times between the 3 actors as it kind of went. I thought that was pretty neat, and there was a couple different shots there. The overall effect I didn't love, like I said, but it's not like it wasn't done well or anything like that. But in terms of inhabiting those characters, I think all 3 of those actors are doing a really great job so far. So be excited to see what comes from that.
Yeah,
Does
it took a
this
second.
get you excited?
For me, it kind of does. I don't know. I can't really tell yet.
Yeah,
it's a hard one to grasp.
I've been burned by Netflix so many times at this point. Like I'm very cautious with this, but so far it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it took a second for me to realize that was John Chow.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as I realized that, I was like, okay, well that's fine. I like him. I thoroughly enjoy him in a couple of different things that he's been in.
I think
obviously the early days of Harold and Kumar, but
yeah,
more recently like Star Trek and some other things like that. So
I think he's great as Spike. I think that's great. Like I think it's cast excellent.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, I'll be curious as to what an episode looks like in comparison to the opener, the trailer will.
Yeah, I agree. That's kind of my main takeaway. I didn't love this teaser, but I'm still really, really hopeful for this as a show.
Yeah, this as someone who hasn't seen it, it's actually kind of made me. Cowboy Bebop's been on my list to go watch, but this teaser has kind of maybe pushed me to go watch it, just because it was very stylized, very cool. I've talked about how much like things like Kill Bill or other things that we've watched have like just reminded me of like live action anime, and here
Sure.
is a
Right.
now live action anime where it's adapted directly from, from that. So this is maybe kind of want to go back and watch the show, and then potentially watch the live action one when it comes out. But I liked the teaser; it was cool. I just am not familiar enough with the show to like comment on it specifically.
Sure.
Um,
I would highly
yeah,
recommend you go and watch the show.
well, I
there's
had the
other one.
opportunity to, because the first season is coming to Netflix this week, actually.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay.
There is only one
And-
season, so.
Yep, and with that, we can transition into Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of October 17th through the 23rd to Netflix. Cowboy Bebop season 1. The only season. There's a movie as well, right?
Correct, which I have not seen, but takes place like midway through the season, so it's not like a continuation of the story. So the season is still the whole story.
Gotcha. No Evangelion shenanigans
Correct.
going
Yeah.
on there.
No Evangelion rebuilds or even the end of Evangelion or anything like that. It takes place in canon during the season in between
Gotcha.
a couple episodes.
And real quick on Cowboy Bebop, how old is that? I mean, because obviously that's one of the older.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
Well,
90s.
98, I think. It's
90s for sure.
Yeah.
1998.
Wow.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was, but definitely one of the notoriously held as one of the best animes. Everybody who likes anime thoroughly enjoys Cowboy Bebop.
Absolutely, big fan.
Yeah. Also coming to Netflix, The Wonderful Stories from the Space Station. This is a documentary taking first-hand accounts of astronauts' first time on the International Space Station. This is like the third space-related thing to come to the new streaming list in like the last month, and I think it might be time for me to go in on one of them.
You're going all space, huh?
Yeah, man, space is awesome.
Space is cool.
Yeah.
Space.
That's it for Netflix. Amazon Prime and Hulu don't have much coming for you this week. HBO Max, you're getting Succession Season 3 premiere, a show I have not seen, but I've seen quite a lot of buzz about, especially after Season 2 and now that Season 3 has started. Has anyone here seen Succession?
I have seen the first episode, and it was immediately a show I went, this is a show about horrible people, and I'm not sure I want to experience that right now. The rest of the world makes me sad. I don't know if I want to have this in my downtime too. But by all
Right.
accounts, it is very, very good and very, very funny.
Yeah, I've been thinking about checking it out. I'm not 100% sold yet. There are some other things I feel like I kind of want to get through beforehand, but that's there if you want it, or if you are already a fan. HBO Max is also getting The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It.
Check out our review.
Yeah, go watch that and watch our review. It'll tell you whether or not to watch it, but it'll be fun. The review will be. The movie, maybe not. And then, rounding out that list is going to be Dune, Premiere Access, straight to streaming this Friday. Please
How-
go see it in theaters, though.
How strange we're getting that in the middle of October.
Yeah, it's wild. It's a weird time.
I don't
Weird
care.
time to
I've
release.
been waiting for this
What do you
movie
think
for
that's
so
like a-
long.
Tyler's like, I'm ready.
Release?
I think originally it was like a Christmas one to me, and that just feels a little bit more, I guess, like in that zone. But I'll take it now.
Yeah.
I'm with Tyler. Tyler's
Yeah.
like, I've been waiting so long for this. I don't care. But yeah, I'm in the boat. Same boat.
Sure. And you got to think, is Denny's last movie Blade Runner 2049? Because if so, that was
wanna
also
say
released like a
so.
September, October
Yeah,
type
for
time
sure.
frame, if I remember correctly.
I believe you are correct in that. I do want to say that was his last one.
The original release date for Dune was November 20th, 2020.
Okay, so it's been basically
so
a year.
he's staying, yeah, same season.
True.
That's it for HBO Max. Disney Plus is getting Marvel Studios Assembled, the making of What If. This is the series that they've been doing after each of the shows, kind of just going and doing a little bit of behind the scenes on how they created it, what they were trying to do with it. And so now you got one for the animated show, which I'm sure will be probably one of the more interesting ones. I love seeing like behind the scenes of animation. That's always cool to watch.
I have really just kind of soured on What If, I think.
Yeah, me too.
Agreed.
Me too.
You guys last week said you finally hit the fatigue button on Marvel.
It kind
Potentially.
of drove me to it, I think, a little bit. And it really is because I think they just, like, I was kind of cool with it, and I felt like it was going along. But then it was like, just none of it, I did not feel the need to connect it. Having seen Visions now, and Star Wars Visions, and kind of, like, seeing what that could have been and stuff, like, I just wish they hadn't decided to try and go that route with it and stuff. But, you know, I'm sure they'll get a second season. Maybe they'll do some other stuff.
Potentially. But yeah, that's going to be it for the subjective new to streaming list. We can get into what we're watching here. I'm going to kick it over to Time to Die Ty. Tyler Vidal.
Hey, I was first last week, and I'm first this week.
He's first every week. That's back-to-back P1 position for Tyler Vidal.
We're going for a championship, baby.
Yes, sir.
Repeat.
Cool. Well, so if you want a sweet little transition, I can't wait to watch the Grand Prix this weekend.
In Austin,
Yeah.
Texas, sir.
It's also in Austin, which is really cool.
You're
We got a home game, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
one a season.
2 next season.
That's true, actually.
Yes, sir. So yeah, anywho, I have been continuing on Manifest. We kind of paused a little bit because we did pick up some other stuff during the week, so we're trying to balance a couple different things right now. But Manifest was on that list.
Is that holding your interest?
Sorry?
Is that holding your interest?
It is, yeah. Although if it didn't, I feel like I would have stopped by now.
Okay.
But I catch myself during certain episodes where it's kind of like turned into bro, I've watched a ton of Special Victims Unit. It
So
is
it's
just like it's
little
ingrained into
yeah.
my DNA. And like when I watch that show, or if I watch it now, it takes me back. And so I don't know, this kind of gives me that vibe.
Okay.
Even though I haven't really watched this, but there's times in this show where I'll be looking at the screen and be like, man, this does have like some really good bones to it, because it gives me kind of that feel where I feel like I've watched it a lot, but I really haven't.
That
So
kind of police procedural vibe.
probably a little bit, yeah, because they definitely do follow a little bit of that format. So Squid Game.
Okay.
Leah has gotten into it, so I am down. It's still good. We picked up You this week.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
3rd season came out, so I am. We're both really big fans of that. And when the 3rd season got announced, we've been kind of waiting, and I think we're 3 episodes deep as of right now.
How are you liking it so far? Because I've seen only the first episode.
I like it.
Yeah. Is
Yeah,
it on
we,
par with seasons 1 and 2?
Yeah, we thoroughly enjoyed both 1 and 2, and as of right now, this has potential. So I urge you to keep going.
Okay.
Consider
At least into
yourself
the 2nd episode.
urged.
Okay. Yeah, I'm about to check it out.
Yeah, it's great. What else? Oh, I got to a couple episodes of My Hero.
Oh
which is
yeah, we were talking
pretty
about that.
cool. Yep, we did. Yeah, his and then I had a cool Snapchat that was pretty cool. I totally forgot about that too. Where I had the flame
Yeah,
beard.
that's right. Yeah,
What did I call myself?
Endeavor's son.
I thought I gave myself a name.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, so that was cool. My Hero is always great. I still want to like get down on that because I know I'm behind a little bit, so I would love to catch up. We got to a Jake Gyllenhaal flick.
Is this The Guilty?
It is The Guilty.
How'd you like it?
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bad.
I thought it was pretty good. There were a couple of things where I was kind of like, why,
Mhm.
but other than that, I thought it was pretty good. It's got
That's Antoine Fuqua, who he did like Southpaw, Training Day, Shooter,
didn't somebody
New
watch this last
Magnificent
week?
Seven.
Yeah, I caught it last week.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I just completely blanked that out of my memory. But
no worries, Nathaniel. But yeah, man, it's good. Like I said, it kind of holds the tension pretty well.
Yeah. And it's just Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, literally. Like I said, you get like 2-3 side characters that are at the precinct, right? I think it's a 2.
Yeah, who I would barely maybe even call. I mean, your characters are more or less the people that are on the phone than the people you actually see.
Right.
So good voice acting too. So that's always hard to find those emotions and still be able to voice act. I always thought voice acting would be really cool.
me too.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that like you're just kind of like the unsung hero, and like even if people don't know you, I give two shits. I'm a voice actor. It's cool as fuck.
It's the proper level of fame.
Yep, and then I got to Schumacher on Netflix.
Oh, what'd you think of that?
I did end up stopping like halfway through because it was really late after I was gaming one night, I was kind of just sitting there trying to calm down, find my zen before I went to sleep, and I finally got like really tired, so I was like, all right, I gotta go to bed.
For sure.
But I've also watched like half of it. I
yeah,
kind of started it last night. I've just been kind of watching it in pieces.
Yeah, it definitely held my interest though, and I definitely will be finishing it because it is good so far.
I do need to check that out still.
Yeah, I figured because it was a race weekend.
I still need to watch Rush.
Ooh, Rush is so
Man.
good. Yeah.
So good. So yeah, that's all I got. I will I'm just gonna go ahead and toss it up here and just, hit it right over Popcorn Adam.
Oh. All right. Well,
He
like I
wasn't
said,
ready.
No, I was ready. I don't have a very long list this week. I got to episode 1 of You, as I mentioned before. And then before we watched Halloween Kills, I had to go back and watch Halloween 2018, of course. So shout out Blake for the Voodoo login.
Yep.
But that was good to go back and watch it. It was nice to refresh before watching this new one, and that one's still solid. I'll kind of elaborate more on which I think is better later in our review, but still enjoyed it this time around. I think I definitely prefer the original though. I'm feeling still good about where we have those two on the Entropy list for sure. And then the only other thing I really got to was I had to watch Star Wars for my film history class. We've gotten to a point where we're talking about still talking about New Hollywood, but kind of like the second half of that towards like the mid to late 70s with like things like Jaws and other blockbusters kind of starting off. And so turns out Star Wars pretty big turning point in film history.
Some say.
Yeah, who would have guessed? So yeah, we've done like we had to watch the movie, and then I was watching the lectures today. He did a whole long lecture about it. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Learning and kind of seeing about Star Wars in that perspective, because I've known about that kind of era and known about how popular it was and how unique it was and why it took off that way. But I just have never. It's always just been like, oh, Star Wars has always been a thing for me, and like to imagine a time before that is kind of weird. So. Yeah, that's all I kind of really got to. Didn't have a lot of time this past week. Very busy, but still got to a few things. So I'll toss it over to Nathaniel, who potentially has some more things to talk about than I did.
Oh, yes. So as I referenced earlier, I took off this weekend, so I had a little bit of time off. And that means, in classic Nathaniel fashion, I watched some shit. So we got a couple episodes further in Assassination Classroom. Still chugging along with that one. Really enjoying that. Just a good chill show, to be honest with you, if you ever want to check that out. Also got further in Adventure Time. I'd say we've been putting in quite a bit of work in there. It has now graduated from a show that is funny and kind of random and, lighthearted to a show that has become much more character-based. And that is much more for the better, and it is now very, very good. So that's really interesting to kind of watch happen. I got to a movie on Hulu called Wrinkles the Clown. Blake, have you heard about this one yet or anything?
No, surprised I haven't.
So
Talk
it's
to me
a
about what's
it's a documentary, and it's about a guy that created this Wrinkles the Clown character, and they're not sure. It may have been kind of what started that, or had something to do with that kind of like creepy clown craze that kind of kicked off for a few months in like 2016 or so, where there's just like clown sightings showing up everywhere and everything. But yeah, that's on Hulu. It's it tries to be a little bit provocative, and it ends up in kind of an interesting point, but not incredible, I would say. Still pretty solid, but not incredible. I got to another movie called Raw. This came out in 2017, I want to say. It is a French movie. Yeah. And I want to say it is also on Hulu. And it is excellent. That was probably my favorite thing that I watched last week, and probably my favorite thing I've watched for a little bit now. Really, really, really good. It is about a student, a girl who is a veterinary student who has been raised vegetarian, and she's going to this like really crazy prestigious veterinary school where her sister also attends, and during one of the hazing rituals she is forced to eat meat, and then becomes very consumed by the thought of eating meat, and tries to kind of follow that as far as she can. But yeah, it's really, really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Definitely more of a thinking man's horror kind of movie, a little bit more in that A24 style, rather than like something more like Halloween or anything like that. But really, really enjoyed it. Really, really liked it. We got to The Thing this week, kind of going with a little John Carpenter fest. One of my channels and sources that I follow a lot is Film Crit Hulk, and he was doing a Halloween movie marathon this week on Twitch, and one of the things he was streaming was The Thing, so we watched that. Also got a couple further episodes into Ash versus the Evil Dead. I'm trying to kind of finish out that series, as I kind of talked about in the past few weeks. I've worked through the first 3 movies, and now working through the series. I think we're done through the first season at this point, so really, really fun. If you know anything about the Evil Dead series, it's still kind of maintaining that same tone, and anytime Bruce Campbell gets to play Ash is good with me. Another movie I got to this week was Saint Maud. Well, another one of Blake's favorites, I want to say, from this year. Yeah.
How'd you like it, bro?
I really enjoyed this a lot as well. It was definitely up there with Raw for kind of my favorite thing that I watched this week. Just really, really well acted, well directed. Not what I was expecting at all. Definitely, I think a little bit less intense maybe than I was kind of anticipating.
It's very slow.
But I still really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, that was cool. Another thing I got to this week that was kind of different was actually the Animatrix, which I had not seen before. But I'm sure Tyler, you probably have. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was really cool, actually. It was kind of a cool throwback. Just kind of was watching or scrolling through HBO Max and realized it was something that I had never got to, despite having seen the first Matrix. And so yeah, if you guys don't know, that's like it's a 6-part, or no, it's almost like 9, I guess, 9-part anthology series that's all in different animation styles and is set kind of before the original Matrix movie. I didn't watch 2018 Halloween this week, but I did watch the original Halloween. Waz had not seen that, and he wanted to check that out before seeing it this week, and so we got to go to that. Obviously, that's a classic. If you wanted to hear us talk about it, listen to our episode. I got to a couple different Louis Theroux episodes, and if you've listened to this podcast, I've talked about him before. Great documentarian, available on HBO Max. I got to a couple episodes of a show on YouTube called Gamey Game, which is kind of a review style panel show for video games, but I find it very funny. And then the other kind of last movie I got to this week was one called The Hunt. Came out last year, I want to say, after being delayed a little bit. So yeah, I got to that as well, and that's kind of a twist on the most dangerous game formula of men hunting men. Yeah, it was pretty good, I would say. Pretty solid overall. Cool. Yeah, not scary in the slightest to me. Definitely at points you're kind of like, okay, why are you making this? Who is this for? What is the ultimate audience of this? Like, and is this kind of just like, are you just making this just to kind of piss people off? But then I think they kind of go to a place with it that does sort of rescue it in the end from kind of falling into too easily of a definable genre or anything like that. So enjoyed all the performances. I thought Betty Gilpin, who plays the main character in that, was really great. And yeah, it was a fun little movie. I'd probably put it in the same kind of vein as those Happy Death Day or your Freakies or something like that as well too.
Yep.
But that was it. That was kind of my big long list of everything I watched this week.
Nice.
Oh,
anyone else we got left, or just Blake? Did you go?
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Backstabber.
I'll finish it up. So as I said earlier, I traveled, so I didn't get to do much. Obviously got to Halloween Kills, so I got to that Monday. But then before that, I actually got to another A24 film. Because it's kind of a horror film, not really. It's more of a drama, comedic horror. But I ended up watching The Lobster. If any of you are familiar with that. So that's starring Colin Farrell, as well as I forgot her name. She was just in No Time to Die, who's his love interest. What's her name? Can anybody recall that for me?
I should know it.
Leah Seydoux? Leah Seydoux?
Yeah, it's something French like that.
Yeah. Nathaniel might be able to jump in on. Nathaniel, what is Bond's love interest in No Time to Die?
It is
Leah Seydoux.
Gotcha. So I watched The Lobster, starring Colin Farrell and Leah Seydoux as well.
And Rachel Weisz.
I got to that. Pretty good, man. It's very interesting and very out there. It's the premise is these people go to this hotel. And if you don't find a match or a lover, you get turned into an animal. So that's kind of the easiest way to say it, but
right.
It's really interesting, and you see people go through like trying to meet people and form bonds and stuff. Otherwise, they just get turned into an animal. Colin Farrell chooses to be turned into a lobster if he does not get a lover, and that's the premise of the movie. So he goes there and says, "Hey, if I don't make it out of here, turn me to a lobster." Boom, the movie kicks off. It's pretty good. Interesting, kind of a horror, but not really. The horror concept is more of just kind of like the hardships of being alone and things of that nature.
Yeah, there's horrifying.
It's A24, so it's. I'm sorry, go ahead, Nathaniel.
There's horrifying things that happen in it, but it is definitely not the focus of the movie. I would say for sure.
Right. So yeah, A24. So it's kind of out there, but obviously it's produced very well, directed very well. The writing is awesome. The acting is great as well. And there's another actress in there that I can't recall the top of my head, but she's also, we caught her in Black Widow. She is Scarlett Johansson and
Rachel Weisz.
Yes, she plays the mother.
Yeah, she's most would know her from the Stone Cold classic, The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Ah, that is her. I never put that together.
Yep, that's her.
That is. Okay. But yeah, so that's all I got to. Pretty good. I'd recommend. And I think that's on, is it on Prime, I believe? I think Prime's got a lot of A24 stuff. So if you're into that, check it out. Pretty long though. It's about 2 hours, but good acting and kind of light, easy to digest and watch. So that's what I got to. Then got the Halloween Kills to kick it off. Rachel
Weisz is also married to Daniel Craig.
Really?
Yep. Little behind the scenes fun fact for you.
This whole thing came full circle.
Small world.
Yeah.
With that,
the simulation.
let's get into our main review segment, which I'm going to introduce for him here, Adam, if that's all right with you.
Go ahead. You saved me the trouble.
Okie dokie. If you are just tuning in for the first time, or if you maybe forgotten how we run things here at Back Row Banter, our main review segment is broken down into two different sections. There is going to be the non-spoiler section, and then there's going to be the spoiler section. It's pretty simple. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the IMDb page, directors, writers, anything we think is pretty relevant. We'll talk about the IMDb plot summary. And if it's really crappy, we'll talk about it a little bit more and tell you what's going on in the movie. We'll give our initial thoughts and our opinions, and then we're going to go around the squadron and decide, do we recommend this movie, yes or no? Has to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. From then on, it's going to be the spoiler section. I'll play the spoiler sound. Sounds like this. And we'll go into any big spoilers or twists, turns, anything of that nature in the movie, any of our deeper thoughts about the movie itself, really get into the nitty gritty. And then if you don't want to have it spoiled for you, though, do come back at the end of it because I will play the sound again to let you know we're out of spoilers. And then we're going to rank this movie on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we've watched on the podcast, ranked for your pleasure. With that being said, Adam, tell me about Halloween Kills 2020, aka 2021, after the pushback.
I like the hyphenation. You're right. It didn't need that since it was supposed to come out a full year ago and was finished probably over a year ago.
Yeah, feels that way.
But this of course is Halloween Kills 2021, rated R, with a runtime of 1 hour and 45 minutes, which, according to Blake's little anecdote last week, is the same runtime as Halloween 2018.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Directed by David Gordon Green, who also did Halloween 2018, with the writers being Scott Teems, David Gordon Green, and Danny McBride.
The man, Danny McBride.
Yeah, who I didn't know wrote the first one, or at least I must have forgotten because I know.
Yes, he did write and produce the first one. He and David Gordon Green work with each other quite often, actually.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. Which was it was an interesting thing to see there, a comedy actor doing
for sure
horror writing, but worked out pretty well, I would say.
Worked out for Jordan Peele.
Yeah,
yeah. Can't argue that.
There. Yeah. Starring, of course, Jamie Lee Curtis, Judy Greer, and Andy Matichak as your, I would say, lead in your lead roles here. Who else is notable here? I mean, most of these actors are just people you've definitely seen in other Halloween movies. You have Will Patton as Officer Hawkins. I don't know if there's anyone else I should be listing off here, Nathaniel.
Robert Longstreet, I've seen in quite a few things recently, just because he often works with Mike Flanagan. Let's see who else is in here. Other than that, that's pretty much it. As we've kind of said, Will Patton, I always remember him as not Ed Harris, because he just looks like Ed Harris so much. And then obviously Nick Castle, who is credited as the Shape, has played Michael Myers, a.k.a. the Shape, in all three of these, the original 2018 and this as well, too. So shout out to him, who I believe is a director in his own right. I'm pretty sure he just kind of like came on to set one day as a favor to a buddy and ended up playing Michael Myers in the original movie.
He has 13 writing credits and 14 directing credits on his IMDb.
Yeah, I think the story kind of goes he was just kind of showed on with a buddy who kind of checked out to see if directing might be something that he wanted to do, and then obviously kind of got to watch from one of the best, John Carpenter. So pretty cool.
Yeah. And it also looks like it's starring Dylan Arnold, who plays Allison's love interest. But on his IMDb, he's also credited for being in You, which Tyler just talked about. I'm not sure which season. But it says he's in here. So I mean,
he's
that could be
2021. It looks like, so it looks like it's season 3.
Sure, yeah. That's something I just came across. But yeah, so I mean, that may be kind of his breakout role between Halloween. Trilogy.
Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall's in this too, from Breakfast Club. That's what I always remember him from.
Oh yeah.
And kind of all of those those 80s. I kept wanting to say John Oliver, not John Oliver. John Huston, not John Huston. Help me, guys. Who am I trying to think of?
You lost me, man.
John Hughes.
John Hughes. Thank you. Thank you. You're struggling there for a second. Yeah, he was in all those
you're
ones.
Good, you're good. Yeah, so your IMDb summary reads as follows. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode continues in the next thrilling chapter of the Halloween series. What a piece of shit summary. Doesn't tell you anything about the movie. Obviously, it's the sequel. So I guess I'll just have to do these non-spoiler summary myself really quick. You saw Halloween 2018. Well, most likely you did. Michael, they think they got him in the house fire. This is not really spoiling much. It's in the trailer, people. He escapes, obviously, and it's now still Halloween night, and he's heading back to Haddonfield once again. And the town, I would say the biggest thing about this one is that the town, it's no longer up to the police to find them. It is transferred power to the town, or at least they have taken control of this hunt themselves, taken it in their own hands, and they are now down to just end the terror that Michael has wrapped this town in for the past 40 years.
Seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, evil dies tonight, as they say in Haddonfield.
I had heard that at some point.
Yes.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Maybe only a few times.
Only a few. Thoughts here. I'm going to toss it to Blake first. Resident horror expert, of course. Nathaniel, I don't mean any offense.
No. That is all Blake.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries. I'll kick it off for us. I kind of have mixed feelings on this. It's we'd have to dive deeper into spoilers. I would say just for non-spoiler, you can certainly see that. Okay, the cat's out the bag. It's not really a spoiler. There's a third movie to this trilogy, and this movie is 100% the middle piece because it's just like filler to me.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to judge it because I need to see what the third movie looks like for me to be like, oh, this actually makes a ton of sense. And that's kind of the hardest pill for me to swallow. But it does kind of have some redeeming qualities. I mean, the kill count is astronomically higher than the first one, which is like a horror rule, right? The sequel's got to be bloodier. So I mean, they definitely got that right. Yeah, it's hard for me to gauge, guys, without having Halloween Ends. It's really hard for me to have a full opinion on this. And that's me trying to articulate myself the best. But it's not horrible. Certainly not horrible. It's kind of close to the first one to me a little bit. But I think I would pick 2018 over this.
I would agree. I think you kind of, for me at least, hit the nail on the head. This kind of falls into a trilogy trope now where I can't really judge this movie by itself.
Right.
And I kind of got to judge it all as one movie once the next installment comes out. But we'll see. I don't know. As of right now, for me, I think they had some really good gore in this. I think they stayed true to kind of what the overall Michael Myers Halloween feel is. I don't think they did any injustice. It's like what you said. It's kind of filler. This is a standalone movie for me. I would probably not recommend. I'd say just go watch the first one. After the third one comes out and I could judge them as like a whole movie, then I'm sure it would probably be a recommend because I like the first one. Well, the 2018 one, but I guess we'll see what everybody else's thoughts are.
I'm pretty mixed on this one. I would say overall, I was very entertained by this movie.
For sure.
And that it doesn't miss on. But I would say I still do prefer Halloween 2018. I think it stays a little bit more true to what Halloween is as far as like the type of horror it goes for, the type of suspense that it builds. This one very different, and I know that's what they're trying to go for. It just doesn't
Mhm.
work for me as much. So I mean, it succeeded in what it was trying to do. I still found it entertaining in what it was trying to do, but I still prefer the classic Halloween feel and the classic Michael Myers over this one. And I think you said something, Blake, where it was just like this doesn't matter. It feels like a lot of filler, and you're totally right. This movie
Mhm.
doesn't really push the thread on the overall story of Halloween that's been building up. It kind of just puts a pause on it. Like this movie could theoretically, depending on how this third one goes, you could probably just cut it, make a cut, and nothing much would change to the third one besides, of course, some of the characters and what happens to
Right.
them. But like as far as like the main story threads of Laurie and Michael, you could just probably cut from Halloween 2018 to this next one and potentially not lose all of that much. Besides, like I
Mhm.
said, a few things that happen to certain characters. Nathaniel,
Yeah,
you're
me
holding
too.
out over here.
Yeah, this is mainly disappointment for me, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I do not enjoy a lot of this movie, to be, and I mean, full transparency, I saw this movie at 5 o'clock today. It's now 9 o'clock, so it is hot and fresh for me coming out of this, but it feels like a movie that was hastily put together following the much larger than expected success of its predecessor, in my opinion. It feels like it's hastily written. It does not feel like it ties in particularly well with the last one. It doesn't feel like it leaves it knows where it wanted to leave the characters at the end of it. It just feels like it was like they wrote it and they went, okay, well, that's what happens because it does, and then just kind of finished it and thought, well, when we get to this third one, we'll have to tie it all together, but at least we've given ourselves enough breathing room that we can actually, work on that one or something. I thought a lot of the plot in this really didn't tie together well. I thought the whole kind of second act doesn't make a lot of sense and is pretty pointless. I thought the end of it, as we've kind of alluded to, doesn't really leave us in any hugely different position than we have been before. Just
Sure.
for and I say disappointment not in that knowing that, like, as we've kind of said, functionally it's not bad, but how the first one kind of seemed to approach the original with a certain amount of respect and I guess kind of like rigidness or rigorousness, I guess, to the quality of the original. Like, you could just see all of the work that was put in to the 2018 version in trying to at least match or honor the original, one from the 70s, the original Carpenter vision. And this just
Sure.
does not feel like it's anywhere close to the same quality to me. So
Yeah.
just overall pretty disappointed. Not my favorite thing that we've watched so far.
Yeah. I'm with I think I'm with you guys. Sometimes I kind of talk myself out of it. I think when we get to spoilers, I can kind of deep dive a little bit more into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of on par with everybody with what everybody's saying. Excuse me.
I want to
So then
like
in
it.
terms of yeah. So then I mean in terms of recommend, I mean so then how do you guys feel about that?
I say I do not recommend this, with the caveat that if a year from now they somehow create a third one that ties everything together and absolutely kills it, I can say, yeah, recommend it at that point. But for right now, I'd say you can watch the original and you can watch the second, the one from 2018, and just end it
2018 would
there.
be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I say that I love the 2018 one. I think I'm probably the biggest fan of it out of all of the rest of the squadron. But like, even if you just wanted to only watch the first one, you could do that and end it there too. So
Sure.
I think they had a really tough task coming up with this movie, because I feel like the 2018 one was written and directed as like a close-ended sequel. And I think once they make the decision to make this a direct sequel to that 2018 version, they put themselves in a very, very tough position from a writing standpoint. That being said, they do not work themselves out of that at any point during this. So, not a recommend from me.
Tyler, recommend?
Standalone movie, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Blake, what did you say yours already?
No, I haven't. I mean, it's tough, but as Nathaniel says, right, there's no nuance on the internet, so I have to give an answer. And I think my direct answer would be no, you don't have to watch it. Yeah, I'll leave it at that before I talk myself out of it. My direct answer would be no, you can pass.
You know, I'm gonna give it a recommend.
Okay.
I'll be the lone voice of positivity here. I I've been on pod before saying how I appreciate like the Conjuring movies, trying to do different things each one, and rather than it have the same exact formula of new house being haunted and family moves in and then they call the Warren family and they show up. And I just want to give this movie props for at least trying to do something like that, where it's not just Michael Myers creeping through a neighborhood and taking out, the same kinds of people we've seen before. They changed the character, and as much as I still prefer that original Halloween formula, like I said, I was still entertained by that change. This movie lacks a lot of substance, but it was still entertaining for me, and I still think people, if they liked, the first two, this is not a must watch by any means, but if they're looking for more entertainment following those, I think this is a recommend for me. Then I think this is a good thing to check out.
Fair.
All right, well, I think that's going to be it for the non-spoiler segment here. So if you've not seen Halloween Kills and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead and check the episode description where I've marked a timestamp you can jump to, where you'll be taken to our ranking of the movie up upon the Entropy list. Spoilers.
Reenie.
Played it a second time just for you.
Yeah. I was about to say, I can't wait to see how off sync that was.
Should be pretty
Post-pop.
close, I think.
I was gonna say,
is it? Okay.
I might be spot on here.
Okay. Shit goes down.
Shit goes down.
Man, a lot of people die.
Yeah,
We
they
kind of knew it coming in, but wow.
they went all out for this one.
Yeah.
And that's cool though. I like that.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. No, for sure. I'll tell you right now, my biggest issue is the weird town returning against Michael Myers subplot. That just does not make sense. Not even from a logical standpoint, but just from an emotional story arc standpoint. That is an okay idea if you want to do it that way, but then to tie it into this character, the drawback being that they kill this other escapee from the mental asylum, or they drive him to kill himself in a really weirdly mixed message scene that has no real basis or stakes for anyone we care about in it.
Right.
It was 30 minutes of completely wasted time in the movie to me for something that just didn't have any payoff.
Really long. Yeah, that sequence is way too long.
Yeah. I think Nathaniel's certainly got a point with that. But I do think, in theory, this idea for this movie is fucking awesome. And that's why I have mixed feelings for it. But it's so hard to pull off with a Michael Myers Halloween type film because it's so tonally different than everything we've seen.
Well, it's just
it kind of turns you off of it.
And they try to keep this air of mystery around Michael Myers, which at three movies in, it's just not there anymore. You can get away with it for one movie. I feel like it kind of works for the second one. But now that we're getting to the point where they're kind of definitively answering, is he human? Is he not?
Yeah, there's no way in hell.
How is he doing anything? But the rest of the movie is so grounded in reality. It's so hard for me to buy into this thing that Michael kills people, and so that somehow keeps him going so that he can take a bullet to the head or whatever and return 5 minutes later or whatever. It just does not seem to jibe.
Stronger.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to jibe with the rest of the universe. But I don't know at this point.
Well, so I haven't seen many of the other Halloween sequels. I've only seen the original 2018 and this one.
Mhm.
Isn't it established in one of the sequels that like Michael Myers is some kind of like supernatural being?
He is
so
the
they established that in the third one, if I believe.
no,
so.
the
Is
third
that
one's
correct, Nathaniel?
the third one's the one that doesn't play that doesn't tie into anything. The third one is the one that's,
I
that's
remember they
completely
erased
separate.
it from canon.
It's called Season of the Witch, and it's actually referenced in this one. The 3 masks that he picks up, the skull mask, the pumpkin mask, and the witch mask, are tied into the plot of Season of the Witch, in which I'm pretty sure a company is selling those masks, those exact masks, but they have mind control chips in them. And that is the plot of Halloween season.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but doesn't Season of the Witch, doesn't that kind of have the background of like that curse, like the thorn curse?
It may. I know at some point. Yeah, I know at some point it ends up that they're related to druids, and like you have to kill. You have to kill out the rest of the Myers bloodline or something like that, and like people were trying to kill the Myers in order to gain a bunch of power, but if they didn't kill all of the Myers, then the last person of the Myers bloodline would go and kill everyone in their family or whatever, and that was tied into Michael Myers. It all ended up crazy. He was a druid's curse at one point and unable to be killed, but anyways, my point being, in the first one it's ambiguous. In the 2018 version, it's borderline, but it seems a little bit ambiguous too. In this one, they're almost now outright directly saying that he has some sort of supernatural element, and it just doesn't always seem like it ties in with the rest of this universe.
Yeah, it's interesting though, and whoever else wants to dive in can certainly dive in. Just cut me off. But even upon watching 2018 last week, I caught, and funny enough, it's on my screen right now as well. But the new Loomis, right? Or basically, I forgot the
it's like Sartan or something like that.
Therapist, whatever you want to call it. But he was like, hey, I kind of have a theory where it's like he's gonna live as long as Laurie is alive, type thing. Like it's almost like that's what keeps him alive. And then Laurie kind of alludes to that as well in Halloween Kills, where she's like, I think I know how to end it. Right? I mean, I'd have to take his head off when he takes mine off. So yeah, it's got some type of curse and mythology and stuff behind that. I don't know. I think Nathaniel's got a great point. It was just awesome. As horror goes, man, like the less you know, the better the shit is.
Right.
And that's how it always is. Like, I don't want a backstory on fucking Midsummer or Hereditary. You know what I mean? It's like, just give me the movie and that's it. And I think they're going a little too deep on this, and it's hard. It's hard to follow.
Tyler, any big thoughts out of this? You watched this at home, right?
I did, yeah, because I just didn't want to do like a 3 or 4 o'clock showing. It just at that point in the day, it seemed like it would be too much of a waste of the day. So I'm always an early movie kind of person if I can catch it, and there just wasn't one. So I ended up buying Peacock for a month, and I will get rid of it next month. It was $5, so I was like, whatever.
After Peacocktober is over.
Yeah. I think if you recenter this movie around Big John and Little John, we got something.
Definitely a highlight. Definitely a highlight for me.
For sure.
They were fun.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that they're the ones that end up in his house too, and it's all redone, and it's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just too much kind of going on here, and I feel like they're trying to explain and kind of put Michael too much in the middle of this movie. I think, in my opinion, the reason these movies work so well and how they kind of have is they don't ever give you too much of him. and he's supposed to be very good at walking slow, but miraculously still being right behind you. And I think there's just too much of that now, and they're kind of oversaturating him as a character. I do agree with Nathaniel on the fact that the whole town and Tommy and his bat turning against him, and then the cops are just like not doing anything. Like at one point, the one detective is like sitting on the staircase after the hospital, and like his hair or his hat is like flattened, and he's just like beaten down. It's like what, like what happened?
That's not just a detective; he's the sheriff of the town,
right? So I'm like, what do you? So like, there's very interesting dynamics along that, and then you get like this whole montage of Tommy just going around the town and be like, hey, we're gonna go find this guy, we're gonna beat him up. And there's like 8 different groups, and there's like one outside of a gas station, and probably another one like outside of a high school or something like that. And his bat's got a name. It's great.
The first movie is very limited in its scope, right? You probably have about 4 or 5 real characters in it. Yep. And because so many of them
You're
die...
talking about the original.
The original,
right?
yes. Yeah. Because so many of them die, when you come into the second one, there's only kind of peripheral characters to talk about, right? So, like, you have Lori, obviously, who's your main one, and that's okay because she carries a certain amount of it. But then you get, like, references to Lonnie Elam, who is in this movie and who's only talked about off-screen in the original. And then they have to like add his backstory in at the start of this movie, and then you get like someone kind of as distantly related as like the nurse from the first one, and it's just anyone who is in the original 70s movie somehow has a connection to the 2021 version, and because of that, it makes the town feel like there is 30 people in it, and like
right.
It'd be just because everyone has some sort of tie-in with this weird story. Everyone that we've met has some sort of weird tie-in with the story. And that is just really not an effective way to get your audience to buy into. And just at the end of this, I felt like, yeah, I care about the Strode family, but I don't give a shit about the rest of these characters that they've just kind of had to sort of buy into it. And it's just... in my mind, there is not enough reason for this movie to exist at this point in the story, in the realm of the story that they're telling. And they haven't done enough to justify its existence with this film so far. And I just don't know how they're going to save it for the third one. I really hope they do, but I don't know right now. I'm sorry, Tyler. I kind of cut you off there, but I was just kind of bouncing off of what you were saying there in that session. But continue.
No, you're good. I was just saying, I don't know if they'll bring it back. I kind of, I hope that they do, because these movies have so much nostalgia. But at the end of the day, we'll see. I think some of the kills were pretty stupid. Most of them were great. The only ones I don't care for are, is the group in the car on the playground.
Yeah,
you don't like the car door kill?
There's two guns. That's awesome. She's just like the older lady is just shooting out the windows for no reason. And I'm like, what is happening? And then the younger female character walks down the street with a deagle, and it's like the biggest caliber handgun that you can buy, and she's just walking with it, and she's missing every single shot, which is fine. Maybe she's not trained, and that's a high caliber gun that will give you some kick. But the fact that he just like hits the door and it just turns on her perfectly, and she shoots herself in the face, I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So there's some things that don't mesh very well for me overall, but
I think back to the 2018 version, you have that great scene in the gas station that has all that tension in it, where he's got his hand over the door and he drops the teeth on the ground and everything. Mm-hmm. And then later on you've got his very effective kind of like walk through the neighborhood, and then you remember he stabs the one lady that's like looking out her window and stuff, and it's all this very just like kind of violent, effective movement. In this one, I feel like the character of Michael Myers is like smaller and like not as good at killing people all of a sudden in some ways too. Like he just didn't seem as much of a presence in this one to me as he has in the other ones. Even though like as we've kind of, well, yeah, I guess kind of like as we were saying, like he's like going around, you know, like clearing a room of firefighters, but then like the whole thing with him like going over and grabbing the light bulb out from underneath the cabinet just to stab the lady in the neck and then like tack 5 knives into her husband before he goes away. Like that's not normally Michael Myers to me. He's so much more kind of efficient and thorough and just kind of like boom. He's
pissed off, man.
Yeah, I guess it just I don't know,
PO.
man. It just didn't feel right to me in a lot of ways.
I could definitely see that.
Even though he's like as big as he is, you almost feel that he should be more elusive, and he's just not.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, I'm being extra critical on this, and there are elements of this that I enjoyed, and if I'm sitting back and I just like sit down and I turn my brain off, I can enjoy this movie as something to watch, and you know, a good example of that. But just coming off the 2018 one and just knowing it's like it's fucking Halloween, I feel like this movie deserves a little bit of extra effort into that, you know, and having seen these guys work on the last one, they did an excellent job with that, and I just am disappointed with how this goes. And I fucking hate the ending. Not that it couldn't have happened, but it doesn't feel justified, and now it just feels needless that the Judy Greer character is dead moving forward. Like, what does that do besides shock the audience? You know, it doesn't seem like it makes any sense for the character. Like, there's no reason for him to have killed her there. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's just going to be a much more like vengeance tale for Laurie Strode. But there are kind of some, and Adam, you can jump in whenever you want to as well. But there are kind of some really cool throwbacks to the original that make me appreciate it more. So when we're talking about the car scene, the older lady he ends up getting, she was actually the nurse that in the original movie that she kind of survives that same vehicle encounter, right, where he like breaks the glass, he's trying to strangle her again. So you kind of like get that aspect back. And there's kind of a few other things like that as well.
The sheriff as well, from the first one is in this as well as the hospital guard. Yeah, he kind of talks about that.
How did you guys like those flashbacks?
I think
I actually
go ahead, Blake. No, go ahead, Blake.
I actually didn't mind him. I had to. It's hard. I had to put so at first when I'm watching it, I was like, I don't know how I really feel about this. It feels really like cheesy. But then it's like, I mean, this is supposed to be like in 1978. Then like you have to watch like the original Halloween. It's like, well, this is how the fucking original Halloween looks like. You know what I mean? So it's like
they matched up really well.
Yeah. So then once I got over that, I was like, I'm good, man. How did you feel about it?
I agree. Yeah, I think if the fact that it is a sequel set in 2021 or 20, I guess technically 2018. I think it works well with that. And had I not just watched the original this week, this ties a lot more into that original than you would think with certain characters. So I would say you almost need to watch. You definitely need to watch both of them before you watch this one. But I would almost say it's definitely good for a rewatch if you want to get the full experience out of it. Yeah,
Adam, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I liked how they did it. I thought it looked really good and matched like a modern day 1970s kind of look. But I think it's just interesting how much they're kind of tying these three movies together, because you're at the end of this, it'll almost be like a quadrilogy or a quartet, as I think we coined last week, because I think they do such a good job of calling back to the original one and then also tying in things from the last one, where it will feel like these four movies are pretty well tied together by the end of things, I think, which I like a lot.
Yeah. How did you guys feel about sorry, go ahead, Nathaniel.
No, I want to hear your question. Discord.
Yeah, I was going to ask So how did you guys feel about the end where like you just see Michael Myers square up with like 7 people?
Yeah, man.
He kind of gets
What
like
the
beat down at
fuck?
first, then he just gets up and goes crazy. That was pretty cool.
I just that was kind of when, as they were doing their voiceover, they were talking about how he was, as he kills, he transcends more and everything like that. And I think that's really where I just kind of
It lost you.
it lost me a little bit, yeah. And not because I feel like that's any, a cop out or anything like that, but I just feel like it felt like it's not where this didn't feel like this is the next logical step for this story. This felt like these are the rules we have to make sure we abide by, and what is going to get us to a place that we can then bring this all home for the next one, kind of thing. It just like from a storytelling perspective, there are just so many elements of this movie, which like even yourself, as you called out from the start, you're like, it's just filler right now. And I think that's just really what I'm kind of responding to so much. I think the actors in this are all great. I love everyone and what they're doing in there. I think they're doing a great job with it. I think, Lori is doing great. Why is her name escaping me right now? I keep wanting to call her Jennifer Jason Leigh. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Thank you. Yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis is great in here. I think her granddaughter is really awesome in this as well too. Not her actual granddaughter, but the Allison Hatchik or whatever. Yeah. Matichak. Yeah. She's really great. I think Judy Greer is great in anything. Sad she won't be in the next one basically now, but who knows? I thought not Ed Harris was going to be dead after the last one too, but they bring him back pretty easily as well. So there's probably a good chance that she could have survived as well. But like, where do you think they go with this? Like, what is the final story here? They either have to give themselves, they've written themselves into a corner now where they have to give themselves some sort of definitive conclusion to this. I feel like you can't just kind of end it on the same note of uncertainty that you ended the 2018 one or even the original one on at this point. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think they I honestly think the third one will probably mirror the first one, or not the first one. I think the Halloween Ends will mirror Halloween 2018 a lot.
Okay.
In terms of where I think you're going to get a lot of the play between Laurie Strode or Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. I think you're going to get kind of that cat and mouse again, but then obviously we would hope there's going to be a final resolution.
Okay.
That's just kind of my idea. And then I think the town and stuff might be kind of like a background idea, but I have a hard time thinking they take this route all over again. It's just too big of a film, and we've already seen it.
I just feel like it was just such a nothing payoff too.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. It's hard though, like I said, because
I feel like
there's another movie,
and like there is a certain amount of like loyalty that I want to feel to it too. Like especially the 2018 one, which kind of really took me by surprise, and I was like, wow, this is really great. And obviously, I love the original, but like I found this like it to be just so substandard in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm being real negative though, and just taking everyone's wind out of their sails. I'm sorry, guys.
Like that's why I'm with you though, partly, and that's why I'm like, there are some redeeming qualities, and I
there
think
is
for them to kind of take this fresh approach of like we're seeing Michael Myers, we're seeing a town of people, but I think the fourth Halloween does kind of have a subplot of this, but this is a much larger aspect we're seeing in Halloween Kills. So I do have to appreciate it for that. So it's tough, but man, I mean, it's really hard for me to say it's bad having not seen Halloween Ends. And I think once we see the end of the trilogy or quartet, as Adam kind of coined, then I think it'll be much easier to be like, okay, Halloween Kills fucking sucks, which could be the case, right? Or it's going to be like, no, it actually makes sense because XYZ, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Hard.
We'll see. I don't know. I typically kind of think that things need to stay consistent. Like each installment should be able to stand up on its own. But I also understand, and I get where Blake's coming from on this one, that it's just you do want to see. I want to see what happens next. I want to know where this ends up. So we'll see how it goes. Are you guys ready to see where it ranks on the list though?
Well, I was gonna ask one last question really quick. Favorite and or best kills in your guys' opinion?
I'll let Ty go first.
Man, that's kind of hard.
I have one. I like the shitty boyfriend that gets his head
that was
the head through the thing, which I was expecting a high tension shout out once they put his head through the banister, and I was like, is he gonna do the thing where they smash it with the?
Me too. I thought he was gonna like step down.
Yes,
on his head or
exactly.
something,
I was like,
yeah.
I was gonna be able to be like, oh my god, high tension shout out, and so he just does the spinny thing, which. Cool, whatever. I like that. That kid seemed like a douche after the first one, anyways. But
sure. I'm with you, Nathaniel. That's a good catch, dude. I thought the same thing.
I think I'm gonna stick with my Big John, Little John theme here. I mean, the way that he just pushes his thumbs through the eyeballs, like that was brutal.
It's been a while since I saw a good one of those as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a good one. You get to see like full eyeball coming out, and I'm not mad at that.
Full eyeball. Always go full eyeball.
I don't care for the firefighting scene either. Do you know how much fucking PSI is behind those fire hoses? I don't care how big you are. You're not just walking through that.
I didn't really buy that either, but whatever.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It did its job.
What do you got, Adam?
I think mine's the shitty boyfriend as well. That one was pretty visceral.
Yeah.
But I thought the car door one was funny where she shoots herself. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, I was cool with that.
Christ.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. And then the light bulb through the throat was pretty bad as well. I was just
those are sharp.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah. I have a broken one in my basement right now. That's a long story. Yeah, I think Blake, did you say yours?
No, I think I think I got to roll with what Ty and Nathaniel are saying as well with the boyfriend. But that's just because watching it, I was like, oh my god, he's gonna smash his head through it on the
right.
And that's all I kept saying to myself, and then he didn't do it, and I was okay with it. But yeah, I really hyped myself up for that one.
There was multiple like heads through windows and then like smash them on like bits that were there left over in this one, because I think he does.
He's very aggressive in this one.
Yeah,
He's
but like
throwing people down.
He's somehow worse at killing too in some ways. Like I don't know. I don't get it. I did love the I like whenever the mask comes off, how they kind of hide his face and like the way they do shoot him when his mask is off. I thought that was still really, really cool. I like that the mask has the damage to it from the first one. But that was the other thing too, is like
flames.
Yeah, I was like, they put a lot of work into him in the 2018 version, and he's just kind of like, all right, well, it's like I just got out of Grand Theft Auto, healed up at the hospital, we're good to go now. Like, maybe killing sustains him, maybe it brings him back. I think that's what it is. I think I might have had higher expectations, and
I agree.
And just not having them met hurts me in my soul.
I think mine were pretty well set. Like I said, I was pretty entertained.
I'm glad for that.
It is entertaining, to Anna's point. This is a Halloween movie to me, in the aspect of like, you can turn this on at a Halloween party and this movie's fucking awesome. Because every time you look at the screen, you're just gonna see somebody's head get slammed through a window, or a boyfriend's neck get twisted in half. You know what I mean? So it's a perfect film for something like that.
Definitely. All right, well, I think we're going to head on out of spoilers here. I don't know if there's too much more to be said on that one. So welcome back, listeners who just decided to skip over the spoilers segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank Halloween kills up upon the Entropy list.
Up upon.
For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. It is essentially how we rate our movies, rather do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd. All right, well, we have... Let's see where the other Halloweens are at currently. We have Halloween.
Original Halloween is
78. at number 6. Halloween 2018, a long ways away at number 34. And this is going to be out of 74 movies, with Halloween Kills being the 74th.
Dang, we're getting up there.
It's getting long.
All right. Who wants to kick it off?
Do you, BlakeHolder, want to kick it off? Resident horror expert, of course.
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it. No pun intended.
Can we get a bunch, Nathaniel?
There you go.
There we go.
Thank you.
Okay. So just kind of as always, talking aloud. Dude, this is tough. There's no way in hell I'm putting this above The Descent. So it's not getting past 45.
Okay.
So then now I'm looking at Candyman. Close.
Mhm.
I think I do like this more than A Quiet Place Part 2.
That's low. I forgot how low that was.
Yeah, I think I do like it more than that. I don't know if I like it more than Trick or Treat, though. But that one's just kind of in an unfortunate place. So I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of swallow the pill at...
Drum roll.
I think...
We love a good pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm running out of
I
breath.
think I'm going to put it... I think I'm going to put it at 58. So below Wonder Woman, above
58.
Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, I was not expecting that low. But okay.
I was at
below Wonder
57.
Woman, above Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Ty at 57. Right below Trick or Treat, of course. God forbid anything be better than that movie, according to Ty.
I mean, there's what that would make it after this. That would make it still 55 movies better than this. I mean, there's a whole list.
Nathaniel? I'm just going to ignore that. Nathaniel?
To be honest with you, I actually thought Blake was going to convince me to go higher, but I actually also had this at 58.
Okay.
Really?
If you were gonna put it,
Yeah.
if you were gonna be like, yeah, I'll have it above Quiet Place Part 2, like I was ready to be talked into the 51, 52 mark, but
That was the highest I could have gone. The highest
Yeah.
I could have gone was going to be one or behind Godzilla vs. Kong.
gotcha. I could, for me, you could put this in at 50 above right below Candyman,
Mortal
right
Kombat.
above Mortal Kombat. Yeah, the only thing that's really stopping me there is I do think Trick or Treat and probably Wonder Woman 2017 are better than this, for sure. But yeah, other than that, I'd probably keep it probably in that same zone. So Adam, and if you want to make a really compelling argument to go much higher, but there's no way this is better than the 2018 version for me. So that's a hard cap at 34.
I'm not trying to put this way higher.
Kind of like Blake said,
The
Descent's a pretty hard stop for me too. I don't think this is better than Blind Spotting.
No way in
know.
hell, dude.
Yeah, it's. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna jump it all the way up to like the top, 40 or whatever it is. But I do think
What do you
there's. It's just weird where some of these movies at right here at the bottom of the list. I think this is kind of just where we vary a little bit more, is towards the end here.
Sure, that makes sense.
That's how we get the Descent where it is. That's how we get Trick or Treat where it is.
Right.
And that's where we get A Quiet Place Part 2 where it is. I think 54 is gonna have to be where I put it. I just personally liked A Quiet Place Part 2. I think probably the most out of all of us, and I think it still served well as a sequel, and probably served as a better sequel to the original than this one did in some ways. And then right below that, Greatest Showman, those movies right below that, I don't have any specific attachment to. And like I said, I was entertained by this movie. I liked it overall, and I thought it was good enough for a watch. So I think 54 is where I'm gonna have to put it at. So I don't know, Tyler. I don't know if you did the quick math already here.
I have not.
54, or a 58, and a 57. What was the last one?
I was kind of floating in between there. I will go.
We need hard data.
Sorry, 58. 58's where I have it. That's where I'm going with it.
58. That would mean that Halloween Kills comes in at 56.75, so we will have to tie break it here with Trick or Treat.
Oh, interesting. Halloween's currently at a 6.0 flat on IMDb with the.
And I can almost guarantee Trick or Treat is going to be higher, which it is at 6.8.
Get fucking wrecked.
So 56, or I guess 57. I'm sorry, 57 is where Halloween Kills is going to land.
Okay.
Cool.
Right below Trick or Treat and above Wonder Woman 2017.
Hop upon.
74 movies, boys.
Putting in work.
We'll be 100 there before you know it, man.
Yeah, it'll be here sooner than y'all might think. All right, well, that's going to be it for the review segment here. Our next review segment is going to be covering the aforementioned movie Dune coming to theaters and HBO Max. We waited also like a year for this. I think
Excited for
November 2020. So this is another one. I feel like this is three movies, 3 weeks in a row where it's like we've been waiting over a year for this.
Hopefully,
and then Halloween Kills, then Dune. All 3 movies that have been delayed extensively because of COVID.
Hopefully we get more of that soon.
Yeah, I think I think, fellas, that Dune may be we may be able to put this one up high somewhere.
I really hope so. I really hope
I
this
would
is like
hope
the
so, too.
highest. I hope this is the highest ranked movie since The Green Knight. Or Green Knight.
Sitting at the newest movie we have ranked high is Green Knight at 13.
Yeah, definitely.
So we'll see if it cracks the top 10. It's got a lot of work to do, but it's possible.
It does, but it certainly is possible, and I'd be very excited if it did. So let's hope. Yeah, go see that in theaters. Preferably, I mean, that seems like it's going to be a great movie to see in theaters. I'm going to do my best to do so, but it's also coming to HBO Max if you don't want to head out there. Nathaniel, any 5-star reviews by chance?
No 5-star reviews by any chance, but if you do want to hear me read out your 5-star review and say anything you want in it, you just got to give us a 5-star review. You can do it in-app on Apple Podcasts. It does help out the show, and we'd appreciate it. Another way you can help out the show is talking about it with your friends, your enemies, any serial killers that are, coming into your house, or maybe you've been attacked by a serial killer, you've survived, and now you're at a serial killer support group, and you're talking with your new buddies, and you're talking about something that you need to take your mind off of almost being killed by a serial killer. Just recommend them our podcast. We're here every week talking movies, ranking them up on the Entropy list, seeing where they're going. Let them know. It's the best way to help us grow, folks.
Indeed, it is. We don't have any emails this week.
Ooh, we love emails. Send us emails.
Yeah, and send us questions to talk about at the end of the podcast. You can share the podcast. That'd be great. Best way to help us grow, of course, as Nathaniel just mentioned. You can follow the show on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, on YouTube we're just Back Row Banter. And then that aforementioned email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of the sort. It's backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Yes, sir. Letterboxd. I'll be on there logging some stuff. Put a review down for Halloween Kills, which Nathaniel actually saw prior to us recording this episode. So now I'll have to remember to only put the review after we record the episode.
Bit of sizzle there for me earlier.
Yeah, I'll note that for next time. But yeah, I'll be on there logging everything so you can keep up with what I'm seeing, anything I genuinely like, or anything I'm heavily anticipating. I'll put a review on. Might do another one for Dune, as I've been on record. Danny V's my favorite director, so we'll see how it goes. So we'll see how that one goes. Excuse me. But that's it for me. I'll go ahead and pass it on to. We'll go to Nathaniel.
What up, folks? You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd. At NS Gingrich. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Sandpiper Tapes is my other podcast. I was trying to get some stuff out for this coming up Halloween. I don't think it's going to happen, folks. But we will be doing a season 2. I do promise that. So we'll be working on it. So still on a little bit of a hiatus now, but it'll be getting done here at some point. Tyler, tell me where the people can find you.
Hi, people. You can find me on Twitch sometimes. I do stream every now and then. If you do get a notification for that, or if I send you a random Snapchat, please follow that link. I don't even care if you're in there for 30 seconds or an hour. Any little viewership helps. Write something in the chat. Tell me I suck. I really don't care because some nights I actually do suck.
It's true.
But that's at twitch.tv/El Trabajo, ELTRABAJO 87. And we have some new content going up for Halloween. So we might be getting some good stuff in Call of Duty. So that's always fun. And then Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter are all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Adam, what's good?
You can find me on Twitter at Aish24 and on Letterboxd at Aish. I think that's going to do it here for episode 75. Halloween Kills. Join us next week for our review of Dune. Thank you all for listening. We really appreciate it. We'll BRB.
Hey, y'all out there, be excellent to each other, and we will BRB.
Appreciate you stopping by for a listen. Like the boys said earlier, anything you do to help us grow would be very much appreciated. We do appreciate any kind of growth that we do get. I think we're over 6,000 downloads. No, maybe we're like, we're over five. Maybe like 5. Yeah, so
Yep.
So cool. Yeah, that's always great. But we appreciate everything you can do. Just be kind to whoever's out there. You never know where somebody's at on their day, their journey, or why it's a bad day or why it's a good day. So just be kind, spread that, and we'll BRB.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Always appreciate it, as we always say. Feel free to spread the podcast if you can. That's it for me. Looking forward to Dune. Denis Villeneuve is a great director. I think this has potential to be one of our top 10 movies. At least I would hope so. And we'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
What have I watched? Here, I'll give you guys some entertainment while we're figuring something out. Okay, guys, today we're doing some Chilling Reign openings. We're gonna go ahead and just get right into it. I'm not gonna tell you guys what I got missing from my master set, but we're just gonna go ahead and get right into this opening. So I don't know what you guys been up to lately. I've been thoroughly enjoying Chilling Reign packs. I've pulled a couple hyper rares, nothing crazy. Overall, I'm just having a really good time. Here's a code for you guys in case you want to get that. Cool. Get that out of the way. Little card trick here. Okay. All right, let's get right into it. Energy, Doctor, Ladian, Delibird, Larvista, Mareep, Heracross, Groki, Reverse Hollow, Growlet. Nothing, no big deal there. Kind of cool. And then we got a non-holographic Malamar. Garbage, ladies and gentlemen, garbage.
Garbage.
We got a couple more packs here. We'll go ahead and get into this next one. Just get rid of these boosters here. All right. Chilling Reign, Zapdos pack, Galarian Zapdos. That's pretty cool. No big deal. And okay, so we got our code here. Great. Little card trick. Sweet. All right. I guess I should hold them this way for you, huh? That's a little bit better. I'll hold them upside down for me. So we have a little energy action, impact energy. That's cool. Path Peak, sweet. I don't know what the fuck that is. Your mask, coughing, some other ghost thing, a little muskrat, and another reverse holographic Golett. That's pretty legit. Oh, we got something fancy under here, folks. Get ready for this. Here we go. And what do we got? Ooh, we got a Metagross V full art. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing crazy, but it is still a nice, pretty looking card. Anytime you do one of these full arts, they're really, really fun to pull. Nothing crazy though. We'll sleeve it anyways. Let's see. I think we got another pack here. Chilling Reign.
Keep going, man. I'm entertained.
So we'll go ahead and we'll just open up this one here. My fingers are a little greasy. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. We'll get the top.
I'm not paying for this anymore. He folded
Really,
those
I'm about to
cards.
subscribe.
Here's a card, code card, perfect. We'll get a little magic trick here. And we'll get into our energies. Sweet. Some guy. Some body armor. That's pretty cool. I'd wear that any day of the week. That's legit.
I'd buy that for $1.
This little octopus guy is pretty cute. He's got a little like boxing gloves on. That's cool.
Shit.
No big deal.
What is his name? Strugglepuss? Snugglebox? Something like that?
Clobopus.
Clobopus.
A Grookey, a Sneal, a Weedle classic, Galarian Farfetch. That's cool. That's a little different from your regular Farfetch. So you can see it's a different color and he's a little bit more angry. So the Galarians are cool. And a reverse holographic doctor. Nothing too crazy. Centering's a little off. Oh, there is one more card back there.
What could it be?
Slurpuff. No big deal. No big deal.
Slurpuff.
We'll go ahead and get another pack here real quick.
Just curious, why is the presenter's hand bandaged? Was this some sort of card opening incident?
Yeah, it's a deep paper cut, and then I reopened it during lifting. So it was fairly healed, and then I went and lifted some weights, and it reopened.
Does this affect the value of my card?
It does not.
Are you sure?
I am positive. So there's a little code there. Go ahead and scan that. I don't care what you do with it. And let's go ahead and get into it. Fire energy, that's my favorite. Let's go. We got some honey there. Another impact energy. Another path to peak. A Ladybee. Golett non-reverse holographic. Clobopus, no
What
big
up?
deal. Reverse holographic Cholera, no big deal. Trainer card and a
What is this
Tornadus V. I already have this card. I think it's the same one. If it's not, it's still a really cool card. Anytime you get those full arts, they're really fun to pull. Nothing really crazy as far as value is, but still fun. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for you today. I got a couple more packs, but I'm gonna go ahead and wait on those because it is an evolving skies. Maybe if you catch me after this recording, we'll get back into this. Other than that, have a great night, and I appreciate you guys stopping by.
Smash that like button. Subscribe.
I am going to subscribe. What a
Ring
great,
the bell icon.
what a great stream.